I just wanted to make a little video for Denver residents and voters, um, where I can share some of my thoughts on the ballot initiative 309, which is the proposed ban on slaughterhouses. Yeah, I wanted to share like how I will be voting and why. I've seen two different voting guides, one put out by Denver DSA, who I do typically um, use their ballot guide and vote in alignment with what they suggest. And another one, just a friend of a friend made it. And yeah, on the DSA Denver ballot guide, they took a neutral approach to 309. And the ballot guide made by the friend of a friend, they suggested voting no on 309. My plan is to vote yes on 309. Voting yes on 309 is voting in favor of shutting down the Superior Farms slaughterhouse, which is a lamb slaughterhouse in the Globeville neighborhood in Denver. And voting yes on 309 also means that no more slaughterhouses can be constructed in Denver and operating in Denver. There are a lot of donors from, the meat industry and big animal agriculture that are trying to paint Superior Farms as this like local employee owned corporation here in Denver. And from what I have learned, Superior Farms is not a local company. They are a California based corporation. The employee ownership thing, I need to learn like a little bit more about. It seems kind of hard to actually find information on that. But what I understand is you have to work for Superior Farms for at least 3 years before you can become an employee owner. And it's unclear to me what that actually means. Many people who come and work at the Denver based Superior Farm slaughterhouse don't actually make it to 3 years. So there's a lot of people coming in and out who never have an opportunity to be like an employee owner. So I just want to share like why I'll be voting yes on 309. For me, there are a few different reasons. One of the main reasons for me is like I am a vegan for the most part. I do make some exceptions for um, animal products that are obtained from dumpsters. And yeah, so like animal rights do matter a lot to me, just for myself and the way I live my life. The other big reasons are climate change, environmental racism, and workers' rights. Um, so for people who live in Denver, I have known this factoid for quite a few years. I had thought it was common knowledge, but I'm not actually sure if it is. The neighborhood where the Superior Farms lamb slaughterhouse is located is, in fact, the most polluted zip code in the nation. That's right, the most polluted zip code in the nation. Whoa, right here in Denver. Um, the slaughterhouse, in my view, is one of the reasons for that. It is not the only reason, but it is one of them. We also have the Purina Puppy Chow factory, and we have Suncor, the oil refinery. All three of these like gross polluting corporations exist like very close to each other, right in the Globeville and like Elyria Swansea neighborhoods. And they all contribute to how polluted that area is. Those neighborhoods also are um, predominantly Latinx and Black as well. So most of the people who live in, again, the most polluted zip code in the nation, which is housed here in Denver, are people of marginalized communities and poor people. So for me, voting to close the slaughterhouse, which is a yes on 309 vote, is about racism, particularly environmental racism. I don't think that everybody who lives in Globeville or Elyria Swansea should live in a sacrifice zone, right? So that rich people in Denver can go get their local lamb at some bougie restaurant. Along the same note, um, my understanding is that there have been a series of Clean Water Act violations that this lamb slaughterhouse has committed, I suppose. The facility is located like on the west side of the Platte River in Globeville. But anyway, I just bring that up because it's right next to a body of water. Okay. So, clean water violations. Bad. Bad in general, but even worse when you are right next to a body of water, I would say. I think that well what I saw from DSA on their like official ballot guide is they're suggesting a neutral stance, or they're taking a neutral stance on 309 because a lot of unions are um, going to vote no on 309. So what's happening is like, on the one hand, you've got like animal rights and welfare, environmental racism, climate change, and just shitty working conditions, right? Versus workers' rights. And these two things are being made to seem like they're pitted against each other. Those workers are, I mean, people of color, first and foremost, but then even more is like undocumented immigrants who, if they get injured on the job or if their boss is doing some shady shit, they have no course of action that they can take against their employer because they're undocumented. So I don't think that it's actually like workers' rights versus like all of those other things. Because in my view, closing the slaughterhouse and having better jobs is for workers. It's for their health, it's for their safety, and honestly their mental health as well. But people who work in slaughterhouses, like that's a traumatizing job. And yeah, on that note, like a question that I had when I was learning about 309 was well, what's the plan, right? If we close this slaughterhouse, what's the plan for the people who are predominantly Latinx? What's the plan for what they'll do for work? Part of the language of Initiative 309 is that money from the city of Denver, that's part of like a climate fund, $40 million in that, allegedly. I don't know. But that money will be used for job training, apprenticeships, etc., for the 160 employees who work at the Superior Farms Lamb Slaughterhouse. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that would be like 100% successful, and that even if there's money from the city of Denver that is used for job training, apprenticeships, etc., that would actually like get people like green careers. Um, but it wasn't just like not considered is the point. So there's a lot of misinformation and misleading propaganda that is being spread about 309. Um, and I would just urge Denver voters, residents, to actually look into this. And I don't want to tell anybody how to vote, but I will be voting yes on 309.